the tiny Tapsalteeries. At the bottom of our garden, below the well-kept lawn, are a group of beautiful hydrangeas, coloured pink and fawn. New flowers appear at morning time around about the dawn, and many other flowers appear, staying there till gone. A row of very ancient trees divides our neighbour's house from ours. Horse chestnuts and a great big oak provide a beautiful bower. They create a barrier where a fence could be, a fence without a fuss. Their branches closely linked together, stretching high as a bus. Within the base of the large oak tree, a tiny door appears, only visible to children, age under 13 years. If you lift the latch and open the door, what will you find within? Some tiny creatures living there. You can hear them making a din. When I say you, I only mean youngsters, for adults just won't see. All they see is just an old oak tree, all gnarled with knobbly knees. However, for children, this is paradise. Some tiny little titchy folk, as cute can be. No, this is not some kind of a joke. After all, this is Scotland, where people are so friendly. They don't wear kilts each day as a rule, and haggis don't run around generally. The Tapsalteery family live in a state of chaos. They are not the tidiest of folk, but surely that does not faze us. Just the tiniest, cutest little folk. Tapsalteeries, as small as any child would hope, every child's little dream, a pocket-sized human, making no demands. You may see a man or a woman. Every child just wants to take one to keep within their cupboard, but Tapsalteeries like to be home, just like old Mother Hubbard, who lived in a shoe with her children so few, but otherwise just wouldn't know what to do. So Tapsalteeries are just the same, if you only knew. Remove them and they will end up feeling ever so blue. Just like the bees who live within their hive, they are busy all day at work, happy in what they have to do, and at work they never shirk. But as these Tapsalteeries live within Scotland's shores, they do dress in the Highland garb, tartan to the fore. The carpets in their tiny homes are tartan all throughout. Up and down the stairs are too, as small children run about. Tartan kilts and tartan plaids are the essential wear, even tartan trousers and a colourful sweater should you care. Hair is never coloured, neither are the shoes. But everything else is tartan, just as well there are no zoos. The tiny Tapsalteeries have quite an amazing skill, just like the simple housefly who walk on our windowsill. The clever Tapsalteeries walk upon the floor, but sometimes climb up the walls with sticky shoes and more. They continue to walk on the ceiling, hanging upside down, just like a circus performer, an acrobat, or a clown. Known as topsy-turvies, the Tapsalteeries are highly skilled, chaotic creatures, mini-humans who could live in a jar. The diminutive Tapsalteeries can fit inside our hands, perfectly formed, but tiny, living within their land. They cook and clean and do all things that normal people do, but all of it's in miniature. They never get the flu. Generally, they are healthy and set about their work, invisible to older people if around the corner they lurk. Down at the bottom of my garden, the little people live. I'm so lucky that I'm age 10 and answer to the name of Viv. That's a picture outside the house. They have a birthday party in each month of the year. Each is born in a different month and they hold it very dear. Birthday cake and sandwiches, pizza and carrot sticks, all made for great celebration with ice lollies they can lick. A clown provides entertainment, all in minuscule. A magician produces white rabbits and white doves as a rule. Tapsalteeries all know how to have amazing fun. Parties are their favourite times, especially when in the sun. Crackers are pulled each Christmas by big people in their homes. Little hats and jokes fall out along with little combs. The prizes, usually useless, are thrown into the bin. This year they decide to recycle them. It surely isn't a sin. The Tapsalteery family are delighted to receive tiny packs of fixing tools, small combs and wool to weave. Weaving wool and tartan is how they make their living. In the topsy-turvy Tapsalteery world, they are well known for their kind giving. To Tapsalteeries, the enemy is Oscar the big black cat. He chases everything that moves, be it a big bat or hat. When Oscar's out and about on the prowl, Tapsalteeries stay inside, taking cover with their door firmly shut, warming at their fireside. For cats are giant creatures, just like a lion to us. As big people are terrified of lions, it's about cats. Tapsalteeries make a fuss. For a cat can catch a little person and throw them in the air and gobble them up and crunch them all without showing any care. Hope that doesn't happen. Ladybirds are not the enemy. No, they're certainly not. We find them very attractive as they appear quite near to our plot. Round about our pond, basking in the sun, we see the little wings outstretched as they are having fun. They eat up all the aphids which spoil the farmer's crops, as aphids suck out all the juices, as from plant to plant they hop. Aphids they can reproduce without a need for a mate. Here's a big word for you. Parthenogenesis is a very clever word to describe the particular state. Parthenogenesis. Cold-blooded, with 3 pairs of legs and 2 sets of wings as a rule, divided into 3 body parts: head, thorax and abdomen. Keep it cool. 1 million or so insect species live within our planet. See how many you can spot and name. See how many you can or cannot. Some insects are harmful, others help with pollination. Some can carry malaria, or tsetse flies are an abomination. My particular favourite is the Venus flytrap, which lives in warmer climes, feeds in little insects, and watch this carnivorous plant's teeth each time. There's Oscar in the tree. Little song about the Tapsalteeries. We are the Tapsalteeries who live in the old oak tree, just like normal people, except we are so wee. We live our lives in Scotland, keeping cosy by the fire, and adults, they can't see us. If they do, then they're a liar. On the 4th day of August, the Tapsalteerie chooked their games. Tugs of war, playing pipes and races within their lanes. So much great excitement. Now time to head for home, towards the line of old oak trees where Tapsalteeries normally roam. Then out of the blue who appears, to them their greatest fear? Oscar the cat, who is always so hungry, and reaching ever so near. Although not the smartest of cats you've ever seen, when he sees anything move, he becomes so very keen. As Oscar reaches the old oak tree, all they see is a flash of black. For Oscar is completely black, from his eyelashes all down his back. To the tiny Tapsalteeries, he's the size of a lion, huge and fat with green eyes and large teeth, terrifying. The Tapsalteeries are all safe inside, apart from old Grandad. He really cannot move so very fast, as his walking is quite bad. Oscar gobbles up Grandad before he can put up a fight, but Grandad is smart and tickles his throat, and the cat coughs with all his might. Up shoots Grandad straight out of Oscar's mouth, while Oscar becomes sick as though he swallowed a mouse. Grandad has had such a terrible fright, needs a strong coffee now to recover from his plight. It has been terrifying for the tiny little creature, who loves spending time out of doors, especially as a teacher. All they can now do is hope that Oscar soon forgets where Tapsalteeries they do live. That would be so perfect. A strange object. A huge object rolls down the hill, circular, with holes in the side, like a massive pill. It rolls and gathers up speed. Before tumbling over, no one takes much heed. But suddenly, a Tapsalteerie youngster finds the strange object, calls upon the others to gather it as soon as some new-found project. The youngster think it may be something they can use, maybe new furniture, at least nothing they'd lose. With a heave and a hoe and lots of huffing and puffing, the tiny Tapsalteeries lift and roll with lots and lots of shoving. Into the Tapsalteery house they roll this huge object. Round and round they roll it home, this being their new project. The object has been a button from a big person's coat, has fallen on the ground unnoticed. Might make it a boat. No, not a boat, with holes in the side. What about a table? So big it couldn't hide. And so the Tapsalteeries find some large-ish stones to support their brand new table in their lovely home. There it is. The older Tapsals set to work their tartan mats to make. The youngsters find some acorns, their table seats to create. Rather than eating food from dishes on their knees, much more sociable to sit around a table where manners start with please. Manners are so important to the Tapsalteery family, holding forks and knives so well and chatting ever so calmly. Danger. A largish mouse walks through the open door. Gives a glance around the house, only looking at the floor. If he were to raise his eyes upward, what is there to see? The whole Tapsalteery family doing the impression of a flea. For all of them love walking upon the ceiling, just as Tapsals do, their sticky feet keeping them attached just as if walking through goo. What a sight for all to see, little people dancing a reel. It is tricky enough when dancing on the ground, but upside down? Watch your meal. For mice can climb on ceilings too, though they're not Tapsalteeries. Just as well neither spotted the other, for a fight would ensue, my dear. And who would know who might come off best? For the Tapsalteeries and mice are best just left. Confrontation is not what Tapsalteeries like. They would rather run for their lives or pedal home on their bikes. Mice and rats are enemies they never want to encounter. Their great big teeth they don't want to meet as down the road they saunter. Similarly, the hedgehog, with spikes upon their backs, are not the greatest friends around, as they just might attack. They like to eat up grubs and insects, even bits of mice. A Tapsalteery has been mistaken for a mouse just once or twice. Avoid the owls and rodents at night time in the dark, for they can see for miles around and are camouflaged by the bark. Better be safe than stay inside with family by the fire. Animals are dangerous and the consequences might be dire. Anyway, that gives you a taste of The Tiny Tapsalteeries, a book by me, and you'll be seeing that back to front, I think. I'll continue on with a little book about cats. Casey, the crazy, cranky, cantankerous cat. Crazy, cranky, cantankerous cat. And this book is dedicated to young people of the next generation. It starts with a picture of a cat hiding in the piano. There is a clever little girl, Kristen is her name, and when she went to kindergarten, guess what was her claim to fame? She often crawled around the floor as she wished she had been born a cat. She frequently curled up in a ball as she slept upon the mat. She liked to lap milk from a dish just like a cat would do. Later she found that many cats don't like milk, just like me or you. At her first year sports day at junior school, they held a bunny jump race. Kristen was on the finishing line, but the others couldn't match the pace. Imagine her excitement when playing near her home. A sound was heard like a crying babe, or someone giving a moan. Under a bush, rustling around, was a very small cute kitten, multicoloured and cute as everything, just quietly there sitting. There's a picture of Kristen racing ahead at the school sports. Kristen went to pick up the cat, but found her not so friendly. Hissing and spitting, with claws at the ready, she'd drawn blood before she could lift her gently. Even though bleeding from wounds in her hands, Kristen just wouldn't give up. She'd been raised in a hard-working family, for to give up was the biggest hiccup. Kristen took the marmalade kitten back into her house, back to her comfortable home, hoping her parents would accept this tiny bundle without too much of a moan. When Kristen persuaded Mum that there would never be a sign of a mouse, soon Casey the cat moved into their warm and comfortable great big house. So Casey, the cranky, cantankerous cat, settled into her new home quite quickly, where she soon became a well-loved cat, so cuddly and ever so tickly. There were moments when the family didn't find her quite so friendly, when she scratched at them or showed her teeth or latched at them quite blandly. However, Kristen the cat lover knew just what to do. Wrap this wild cat in a blanket, holding her so close to. Soon the hissing wild cat stopped her ferocious attacking. Soon to become lovable and friendly, her fierce side now was lacking. After all, this family were certainly used to cats. They never were without a cat. In fact, they had so many it drove them all bats. Black ones, multicoloured ones, stripy and grey. At times they all fought with each other. Best times were when they all play. Casey the cat is incredibly bright, just like a young inquisitive child. Experiments with water as it leaves the tap and eats insects when the weather is mild. When the family are on the telephone and Casey wants a cuddle, she will pick at a picture hook with her claws until the picture crashes down, leaving everywhere in a muddle. One day, as the family returned home from school, what met them at the top of the stair? Tiny pieces of wedding confetti coming from 16 toilet rolls there. For Casey was bored when the family was out and she needed something to do, found all the toilet paper there and worked on shredding it from just beside the loo. And there's Casey with all the paper. When the children are practicing piano, what are the sounds they hear? From way inside the piano strings, there are pings heard, oh so clear. For Casey hides in the piano, hiding from other cats. In her secret hidey hole, safe from all cats and old bats. There's a picture of some cats in the piano, just like my white piano. Now, as Casey became a little older, she wanted to have her own family, produce some kittens, 1, 2, and 3, which she loved just ever so blindly. 3 little girls just ever so cute, and none looked like the other. Tosca, Cassandra, and Miriam, all strong names, and they were no bother. Kristen the vet lives in rural Scotland, has a huge field adjacent to her house, where old unwanted animals land. She will take them in and feed them well, loving them with all her heart. Cats and dogs, donkeys, horses, some of them saved from the local mart. The little cat family now live in harmony with Kristen, the cat lover mum. For Kristen has grown up and had her own son, who brings her so much fun. Cats and humans continue to live side by side, cats giving cuddles so much of the time. Kristen, now a vet, looks after their every need, and the result is happiness sublime. There are 2 little kittens there. Nibbles. My little kitten Nibbles likes to climb up high, runs up and down the curtains, none of us knows why. He jumps upon the highest cupboard, sometimes falling down, always landing on his feet, never on his crown. He sleeps wherever he fancies. It might be on my bed, on top of a kitchen cupboard, or even on my head. He really is the cutest cat, unlike so many I've seen, but I prefer when he snuggles up and cuddles on my knee. There's a picture of one of the cats in the garden. In winter he cuddles closer when the snow is on the ground. Seems to like my beating heart when outdoors he is not bound. He cuddles me so closely, enjoying warmth from the fire. I'm very lucky to have found him hiding in the byre. We live in a farm in Scotland, in rural Murrayshire. One day I found Nibbles hiding there alone at the back of the byre. The byre is where we look after cows and milk them every day. There's not much there inside the byre, just cows and new mown hay. I called him Nibbles because he likes to suck my wooden clothes. He needs me full of happiness as the winter fire does roar. I love him too with all my heart. He gives me such great cuddles. It's like having your own furry babe. Never moans when my house is in a muddle. Escaping on top of the curtain. I think that's enough stories for today. I hope you enjoy them. Thank you. Bye.